Have you ever noticed that no matter how much more you earn, your life never actually feels safer? You get a raise, you get a bonus, you finally cross a new income milestone. For a few weeks, maybe a few months, you feel ahead. Then something shifts. Your expenses quietly adjust, your expectations rise, your stress level returns to baseline, and you're back where you started, just operating at a higher cost. What if the real problem isn't inflation, taxes, or even your salary? What if it's how you treat the first $1,000 that doesn't belong to your monthly survival? Not the money you need for rent, not the money for groceries, not the fixed obligations, but the first $1,000 that feels extra. That one decision, repeated over years, is the difference between financial tension and financial stability. Today, we're going to break down what I call the $1,000 rule. Not a hack, not a side hustle strategy, not an investment secret, a behavioral shift. And by the end of this, you'll see why this simple rule quietly separates financially fragile households from financially stable ones across the United States and Europe. Let's start with something real. Imagine you're 29 years old living in Dallas. You earn $68,000 per year. After federal taxes, state taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and health insurance, your take-home pay is roughly $4,000 per month. On paper, that sounds fine. Now let's map reality. Rent for a modest one-bedroom, $1,650. Car payment, $480. Car insurance, $170. Health costs not covered, $120. Groceries, $500. Utilities and internet, $250. Phone plan, $90. Student loan payment, $420. Credit card minimums, $200. Subscriptions and streaming, $80. You're at $3,960. You have $40 left. You are not irresponsible. You are not extravagant. You are statistically average. Now let's move to Europe. Imagine you're 31 in London earning £45,000 per year. After tax and national insurance, your monthly take-home is roughly £2,900. Rent for a modest flat, £1,500. Transport, £200. Utilities and council tax, £300. Groceries, £350. Phone and subscriptions, £80. Student loan repayment, £250. Credit card payment, £150. You're left with roughly £70. Again, not reckless, just living. Now here's where the turning point appears. You receive a £1,200 tax refund, or in the US, a $1,500 annual bonus after tax. Suddenly, your account balance looks different. You feel relief, and relief is powerful. Relief makes you want to reward yourself. A short vacation, new furniture, a better laptop, upgrading the car, paying for a wedding deposit, replacing everything that felt on hold. None of these are irrational, they're human. But here's the quiet problem. When relief becomes consumption, your financial position doesn't improve, it resets. The $1,000 rule is simple. The first $1,000 of any extra money must strengthen your position, not your lifestyle. That's it. It sounds small. It is not. Let's define something clearly. Lifestyle is what you experience. Position is what protects you. Most middle-class households improve lifestyle before improving position. That's backwards. Let's run simple math. Imagine you carry $8,000 in credit card debt at 21% interest. That's about $1,680 per year in interest. You pay minimums, the balance barely moves. Now you receive $1,000. If you apply that $1,000 directly to the balance, you immediately reduce future interest by roughly $210 per year. That's guaranteed return. There is no stock market volatility here. There is no timing risk. It's structural improvement. If instead you spend that $1,000 on a vacation, your memories improve, but your financial structure does not. 10 years of repeating this behavior compounds. Let's assume you receive 2 extra $1,000 events per year. That's $2,000 annually. If invested at 7% for 20 years, it becomes roughly $82,000. If used for consumption annually, it becomes $0, plus possibly upgraded finances. Now here's where psychology becomes more important than math. Humans engage in something called mental accounting. We treat money differently depending on how it arrives. Salary feels assigned. Bonus feels flexible. Tax refund feels like a gift. But financially, all dollars are identical. The system doesn't care where the money came from. Interest compounds the same way, investments grow the same way. The only difference is how you emotionally categorize it. And here's another uncomfortable truth. The modern financial system is designed around your willingness to upgrade lifestyle quickly. Credit card offers, 0% financing, buy now, pay later, lease instead of buy, subscription everything. The system thrives when your expenses scale with your income, because predictable income plus rising lifestyle equals predictable payments. Financial intelligence disrupts that pattern. Let's zoom out further. The median American household has less than $5,000 in liquid savings. Many European households are similar when adjusting for cost of living. But you'll see leased SUVs, renovated kitchens, expensive holidays posted online. The appearance of stability often hides fragility. Fragility means one job loss changes everything. One medical event changes everything. One recession changes everything. The $1,000 rule is not about becoming wealthy. It's about reducing fragility. Now imagine two people, same age, same city, same salary. Person A upgrades lifestyle with each extra income event. Person B applies the first $1,000 of every extra income event to strengthening position. After 5 years, Person A earns more but carries similar debt, slightly upgraded car, better apartment. Person B may live similarly but has no consumer debt, a 6-month emergency fund, and $20,000 invested. Externally, they look similar. Internally, they live different psychological realities. Person A needs their job. Person B prefers their job. That difference is subtle and powerful. When you remove debt, build liquidity, and invest surplus, your tolerance for workplace pressure changes. Now, I want to pause the story for a moment because this is where most people misunderstand the entire problem. It's not about money, it's about pressure. The middle class in the United States and Europe is not poor, but it is pressured. There's a difference. You earn enough to function, you don't earn enough to relax. That gap creates tension, and tension drives behavior. Let's analyze what actually happens psychologically when that $1,000 hits your account. Imagine your checking balance normally sits around $800 to $1,200 before payday. You monitor it subconsciously. You calculate upcoming bills in your head. You know when rent clears. You know when the car payment posts. You live in a state of constant micro-calculation. Not panic, just awareness. Then suddenly your balance jumps to $2,300 because of a bonus. That number changes how you feel immediately. It creates breathing room, and breathing room is addictive. The brain interprets liquidity as safety, so your subconscious says, "We're safe, we can release." That release often becomes spending. Now here's what's interesting. The spending itself isn't irrational. What's irrational is the timing. Because if you examine your full financial structure, that $1,000 rarely changes your long-term safety. Let's take a realistic example. You have $7,500 in credit card debt, $18,000 in student loans, $12,000 left on your car, $3,000 in savings. You receive $1,000. Spending it improves your lifestyle for weeks or months. Applying it to debt reduces long-term friction permanently. The difference is temporary relief versus structural repair. Now here's where it becomes uncomfortable. Many people use lifestyle upgrades as emotional compensation. Work is stressful, rent is high, commutes are long, social comparison is constant. So spending becomes symbolic control. I may not control housing prices. I may not control inflation, but I can control this purchase. The purchase feels empowering, but empowerment through spending is fragile because it often creates future obligation. Future obligation recreates pressure. Pressure recreates the desire for relief. Relief recreates spending, and the loop continues. This is not a failure of intelligence, it's a very normal human cycle. But financially intelligent people interrupt the cycle deliberately. They understand something subtle. Relief is not the same as progress. Relief feels good. Progress compounds. Those are different emotional experiences. Relief is immediate and visible. Progress is delayed and invisible. And humans are wired to prioritize the immediate. Now let's talk about math in a slightly different way. If you reduce a 22% credit card balance by $1,000,